Hello everybody. Happy Wednesday. Happy May. It's really getting to be summer, kind of hot and sticky actually this week. Glad to see y'all on here. I am in honor of Gordon Lightfoot. We are going to work on a Gordon Lightfoot song that Tony Rice covered and do Tony Rice's kickoff for that. Like we talked about last week, and I'm sure you all know, Gordon Lightfoot, the great Canadian songwriter, passed away on May 1st. He died at 84 of natural causes, and so we're just honoring him today. And I just wanted to also say hello to any mothers because it's going to be Mother's Day on Sunday. So I'm wearing my Guitar Pickin' Mama shirt that my cousin made for me when I had baby Jack. So I've been wearing it for a long time, but I haven't worn it for y'all yet. I figured today is a good day for that. So happy Mother's Day. So here is this beautiful, beautiful song, and I hope you've got your guitar with you. Hey there, Julie. Happy Mother's Day, Julie, and hello, Bill Wolf. Bill has heard this song before. Bill's actually the one who recorded Manzanita, so a little familiar to him. We're going to put our capo on 4, and we're going to play out of C position. So we are going to play in the key of E for those playing along with mandolin, fiddle, banjo, etc. Well, banjo, you'll probably use a capo as well. And we are doing a pretty melody-based break today. And as usual, I kind of thought I was picking something nice and simple for you guys. I'm trying to do as simple as I can, just to be all-inclusive. And as usual, it gets a bit complicated with the timing for Tony. So some of y'all are joining back up, joining up here, so I'll play it again, play the break again for you.
Holding you got much.
That is an awesome, awesome kickoff. I love it so much. I've always loved it. And of course, as usual, when I went back to revisit it for you guys, I discovered a few extra little treasures that I hadn't heard before. I slowed it way down. Let's slow this baby way down and talk about the chords also. Why don't I go through the chords now? Let's talk about the chords. I will tell you this. I looked up the chords online to see, a lot of my students I noticed love to go online and find their chords. The online chords to this are consistently off. They're not on. And just to double check, I listened to Gordon Lightfoot's version today, and I listened to Tony's, and I made sure to listen to the bass, and there's just some wrong chords online. So I would advise you to listen to the bass or just check out what I'm saying here. This is the first time I've been tempted to tab it out, write it, notate it out for you guys, because I don't think there's possibly reliable stuff out there, but I didn't see it. I'm gonna play it. We're gonna start with the C chord. And the measures are not even. It's not a bunch. It's not 4 bars, 4 bars, 4 bars. The first line has 5 bars. So here we go. C, F, C, 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 4 chord F, back to C for 2 measures. And then we're gonna walk down C, C over B, A minor 7, 4, back to 1, to the 4 chord, to the 1 chord, to the 6 minor, to the 3, to the 4, to the 5 for 3 measures, and to the 1 chord for 4 measures. 2, 3, 4. so let's do that again without Tony here. And what I'd love to chit chat about for a few seconds is ear training when you're learning chords. You might be in a jam circle and you feel that you can't stop everyone and ask what the chords are. We need to learn to figure that out ourselves. And it all starts with hearing that one. What key am I in? You hear the one, right? So from there we've got our one chord, our C chord with a capo on, capo 4. We've got our C chord for 2 measures. And then you hear, ah, what is it? Fa, mi, for classical people, 4, 3. It has a hanging sound. For me, every chord has a little personality. I hear that hanging sound, I know it's a 4. 1 measure and then 2 measures of 1. Now I'm going to walk my bass line down. 1 over 7. It's just a passing chord. Sounds weird slow. 1 over 7. And then I do basically an A minor 7. So it's kind of like the bottom part of a C chord. And then I've got my C chord with a G in the bass. Some might argue that's an A minor 7 with a G in the bass. It really kind of doesn't matter. What we're hearing is that downward progression. Right? C over B, A minor 7, C over G, C with a line, G, C over G. It means a C chord with a G in the bass, the 5th in the bass, the lowest note. And then up to our 4, back to our hanging sound. 4 for 1 measure and 2 measures of C for 1 chord. Now we go to our 4 again for 1 measure, back to our 1. Now we have our 6 minor, our A minor, and now we have an E major. So why is there an E major? There's no G sharp in the C scale. That is a very good question, and we're going to talk about that in just a second. But just to finish this progression, we have 2 measures of that E there. Now to our 4 chord, our F. You can do that low one or the regular one, and then 5, G chord for 3. And then back to the, like I said, the C chord for 4. And it's not 4 every time. He added a couple extra bars to get into the solo. Okay, so let's talk about that 3rd line. Tony's singing, his eyes were red, his hopes were dead, and the A minor to the E for 2 measures. And I'm playing an E7 because it's an E dominant. It's acting as in like a 5 chord, as a dominant chord. So why on earth would he throw in that E minor? E dominant, E7, when in the key it would be a 3 chord, a 3 minor chord, if we were to walk up diatonically in the key. It's kind of, the way I look at it, a 3 major, a 3 dominant like that is a statement chord. It's very heavy-handed, it's strong. So his eyes were red, his hopes were dead, and the whine, 6 minor, was running low. It just feels big. You hear this chord a lot with the Beatles. And let's see, in bluegrass, you've heard The Old Home Place. We've got a big old 3 chord in the G position. B7, that's the 3 dominant chord. So back in C, 1, 2, 3, counting up the scale, there's the root of our 3 chord. Why do I care to walk through it in such detail? Is I want your ears to start hearing chords as a personality, so that when you're in a jam circle and you are faced with chord changes, you don't need to look at paper, you don't need to watch someone's hands, you just know in your heart what the chords are. And that just comes from lots of self-awareness, lots of listening, and just wanting it. So maybe nobody's even pointed out that that would be something that you would want. But I'm saying, yes, you want it. Even Victor Wooten, the well-known bass player who plays with Bela Fleck, he drives along in his car, turns on the radio, and figures out chords as he drives. And I do the same thing when I'm jogging. I do the same thing when I'm just hanging around, maybe bored somewhere. I'll listen to a song and figure out what the chords are. And sometimes I'll go home and check. Just this morning, my daughter was listening to a Taylor Swift song, and I did. I came home and I checked on the piano. I was like, was I right? I was right. Good. So that's just another thing you can be working on, improving your ear in that way. So sorry for that little aside, but I think it's important, especially since these chords are abnormal. You know, they're not the usual 1-4-5 with a very square pattern. So on that third line, we've got the 4 chord, that F to the C to the A minor, which is a 6 chord. And the way you can think about that upcoming E7, that is it would be the 5 of the 6. So it feels really comfortable and satisfying to go there from a 6, like that. A minor to the dominant 3. That it would be if we were in the key of A minor. Think about Jerusalem Bridge, for example. It's the 5 of that. But then, and another satisfying move, we go up to that 4, just a half step up, and then to the 5. Just hang out there. 3 measures, and now 4 measures of 1. Okay. Thank you for indulging me on that. I will get you started with the solo here. Let's play it nice and slowly. Be a little lead time here.
All the neon lights show.
Okay, so for the pickup, of course, Tony has his pickup on an offbeat as usual. It's on the and of 1, of beat 1. Okay, so we are going to do our down ups religiously on this one to make sure we catch his offbeats as they are. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and do this with me. Do it up the C scale. F, 1 and 2 and speed it up. And 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So for flat picking, that's what it's all about. Our right hand doing that. And if we skip a note, we still keep that hand moving in time. So that you can do drills all day long where you skip notes but just keep your hand moving. You might need to exaggerate it at first. A lot of my students have to force themselves to exaggerate to keep that hand moving because he starts on the end of 1. So we have to go 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. So with an up, we grab that C. First fret, second string. Up, down, down, down. And the next ones are all downs because they're all right there on the downbeat of 1, the 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. That's our pickup. We haven't even hit the first chord yet, but that's how he leads us in. So up on the C, the fretted C with the capo on. Obviously, it wouldn't be a C, but in the key of E. But just pretend we're in the key of C because we've got the capo on. It's the easiest way to say it. So second string, first fret, we do an up, and then we grab that E, which is the fourth string, second fret, and then another down on that E, and then a down on the F, the third fret, fourth string. Okay, there's our pickup. Okay, then the downbeat hits, and then in a kind of a funny move, Tony doesn't even start right there on that downbeat. He waits half a beat and then comes in with an up. Ba-da-da-da-da. Isn't that fun? I don't know if I'd ever noticed that before until I was checking this out to get ready for you guys. Down, up. Kind of funny, huh? So we'll do a ghost down on that where the C chord hits. We'll do a ghost down, up on that open G, the third string. And then we're going to do a ghost down and a ghost up for beat 2 of that measure, and then hit the down on the third beat. So 1 and 2 and 3. 1 and 2 and 3. And then he grabs on the end of 4 of that measure. Just a quick, quiet little C again with the C, with the G, making it a little quiet double stop. Da 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 da. Ghost up, ghost down, down. That was the end of 4. Okay, hope I haven't lost you guys already. I know it gets a little bit funny with Tony's timing. Ghost. That's our next move. We're going to do a hammer on this A from the open G, third string. So we'll hammer with a down from second finger hits the open third string and then immediately hammers onto the second fret. And on top there, I'm hitting a C, making it a double stop. So hammer on the third string, first fingers hanging out on the first fret, second string, just waiting to be the top note there. It's pretty, isn't it? So that's down, down, ghost up, down. Okay, and this is kind of the tricky, I feel like this is one of the trickiest parts with all of those syncopations, because after we have this, so I guess that's not that hard. So we have down after the hammer on we just did. We do the open G and the C on top with a down. And then we do a down on the F, third fret, fourth string. And then a down on the E, second fret, fourth string. And then immediately an up on our open D. And then, don't be mad at me, but we have yet another ghost down on beat 1 of the next measure, and an up on the and of 1 on the C. It sounds harder than it is. It's better if you just play along with me on this. So start on the hammer on. Down, 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 up, ghost, up. So let's do it again. 2, 3, 4. That is on beat 1, 2, 3, 4. Down, 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 up, ghost, up. Hope that makes sense. And then, luckily, there's not that much in the rest of that measure. We're going to hit that quick little up on the G here, the third string, and then back to that C, that third fret, fifth string, and then a down on the open G. So you can kind of hear it in the melody. Da, 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 da. So we oh, and then down on that open G. Sorry, I'll do it one more time. Down. That's where we stopped. Okay, so that was just, what we just did was da 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 ba da ba da 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 ba 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 ba. That's where we stopped in the middle of that 4 chord. So what can help you to see that 4 chord there is that hammer is onto the 3rd of the 4 chord. So knowing me, I'm always going to point out what chord we're on and how this melody relates to it, because I want you to be seeing that so you can use it in the future. When there's a 4 chord in the key of C, you can just hammer onto that 3rd. 1 3 5 3 1. I'm just doing what I call the connect 4 triad. F A C. Hammer onto the 3rd. That's where we ended. So now we're going to go back to the 1 chord for 2 measures, and we're going to hammer onto the 3rd of the 1 chord. So this is a very common thing. We've been doing it in every single solo. We've been hammering on, pulling off from the flat 3, hammering on to the major 3rd. It's just the music language, especially in Tony Rice style, especially bluegrass, but in almost every style. So the next measure is, so I need to get in context. So that's typical bluegrass Tony language, okay? So picture your C chord, play it, 1 3 5 3 1, hammering on to the, from the 2, the D, the open 4th string with a down stroke in our right hand, and then a nice hammer. Picture a piano hammer, just nice strong hammer on with good tone. Do a ghost up as I hammer, and then I do it down on my 3rd string, my open G. Okay, anytime you got a C chord, you can do that. It's going to sound great. 2 3 5, and then we're going to pull off from the flat 3 to the 2, just like we do in pretty much every single Tony Rice solo so far. We are going to do a quick 16th note pull off with a downstroke in our right hand, and that's from the flat 3, the what would be an E flat with capo on, and pretending the capo is our nut, and with our first finger, 1st fret, 4th string, we do a quick pull off. Pull down if you need better tone. Some of my students have a hard time pulling off. Just do a nice strong with good tone. And then because it's a 16th note pull off, that means it's a quickie. We're not going to do a ghost. We're immediately doing an upstroke with our right hand to that C, the 5th string, 3rd fret. You recognize that from Tony stuff? If you're not good at that, get good at it. Just practice. My right hand's going down, up, down, up. My left hand's going pull and put down that C. And then after that, we have our down on the open 4th string, the D. Down, down. And then an up on the B, the 5th string, 2nd fret. And then down on the C, the 5th string, 3rd fret. So that's just a pretty little line surrounding the root there, the tonic. Do you hear how it's kind of bringing us in a satisfying way back to that 1? Da, 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 da. And then you rest for a second. Just kind of strums a little bit. You can hear it in the background. So what we've just played is it for you. 2, 3, 4, 1. Pretty. It's a nice melody-based idea, but not exactly the melody. Just decorating it in a really beautiful way. Alrighty. Let's go up to the next little phrase here. We're gonna do. So that's a beautiful little progression over. Really melodic and beautiful. The best thing's probably just to listen to it a bunch to get it in your ear. But we'll go through it note by note as usual. And for those who don't know your note names, I'm telling you which fret and which string. Also, I'm a little bit concerned that I'm not close enough for you to see, so it's just probably a little easier. So on beat 4 of that previous measure, 1, 2, 3, 4, and that's our pickup to the next phrase. That's a E, F. So 4th string, 2nd fret, down stroke in my right hand, and then an up on my 3rd fret, 4th string, and then we'll just go G, E, G, open 3rd string with a down, up on the 4th string, 2nd fret, down on the 3rd string, open, down, up, down with my right hand, down, up, down, and then we have A, B, so down on my 2nd fret, 3rd string, and then down on my open B, my open 2nd string, and then a little decorative little da da da. So pretty. 1st fret, 2nd string, down, up on my D, my 3rd fret, 2nd string, down on my 1st fret, 2nd string, down, up, down. So all together that's da 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 da. Now da da da. So pretty. So open string, open B string, open 2nd string with my down, and then an up on the C, 1st fret, 2nd string, and then down on the open B again, open 2nd string, down, up, down. So from the top of that phrase, 2, 3, 4, and 1. Okay, and then now we'd have another hammer like we did earlier on that with the because I think he's hitting, yeah, he's hitting the 4 chord. So here he goes again on that 4 chord, hammering onto the 1, 3, 5, 3, 1, the 3rd of the 4 chord, of the F chord. Okay, so my first finger is being used as the top of my double stop. Double stop is just a fancy term for 2 notes being played at once, and my right hand is a down, and I've got my hammer. 2nd finger hammers from open G string, open 3rd string, onto the 2nd fret, 3rd string. And my first finger's just down, poised to be that top, pretty top note there. So I down, down. I go down with my hammer, and then I take it off, my 2nd finger take it off, and I have an open G and a C together. Da, da. So the next little bit is so da, da, down on my E, my 2nd fret 4th string, down on my F, my 3rd fret 4th string, and then back to my A, downstroke right hand, and I'm going to do a pull off from the 2nd fret 3rd string onto that open G. Give me a nice strong pull off with good tone. Pull down if you need to, but don't hit that open B and hit it. Just give me a nice clean pull off. Okay, so here we have another one of those tricky Tony moves where we need to do some ghost strokes to make sure we get the right timing. We have pull, pull off. So down when we pull. As we pull, we do a ghost up. And then we do another ghost down. Da, da, da. We hit an open G with an up stroke. So pull off, ghost up, ghost down, up. Fun, right? Da, 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 da. So after we did da, 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 another ghost down after that open G, and then an up on the 4th string, 2nd fret. And then a down on our G. Da, 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 da. A, G, G, E, G. Okay, so let's do it from that second phrase, which started on beat 4, 2, 3, 4, and... Oh, sorry. Hope you can hear that beat tapping out. 2, 3, 4, and... Pretty, right? So that's part of the flat picking style. It's like we're a band. We're creating a driving feeling with these very cleanly played, very nicely placed in time notes. We're giving people a feeling of groove. So that's why our right hand consistency and accuracy is so important. So important. It's what most flat pickers I know work on the most, their right hand technique. We do drills, we do just a lot of playing to get that feeling, that driving, clean, beautiful feeling of being in time, being in the pocket, being in the groove. So if that's not important to you yet, think about that. Get some awareness going on your timing, and maybe play a drum machine in the background. Next phrase. Do, 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 do. Okay, so now we have that big old phrase leading to that big old dramatic major 3 chord, that dominant 3 chord. And it says so much. This song is full of drama. It's a beautiful song, a sad, bittersweet song about a man who's in a sad situation towards the end of his life, and you just feel it. This chord gives us that feeling, and I think Tony's solo leads us there really well. But I'm hurting right now. I feel that. Ouch. It's a lot. So we are going to start that phrase. Da, 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 4 chord to the 1 chord to the 6 minor to the 3. That's the phrase we're about to work on. Starts down here on the root, the tonic, the C, 5th string, 3rd fret with a down. Down, up, down, up, down, up. So walk on up the scale. If you don't know your scales, by the way, work on your scales. C scale should be just under your fingers, so when I say going up the scale, you just go up the scale. But if you don't yet, don't worry about it. That's what we're here for. Here to learn and get some awareness going. So down on the C, the 3rd fret, 5th string, down, up on the D, open D, 4th string, and then down on the 2nd fret, 4th string, and then up on the, what would be an F, the 3rd fret, 4th string. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The next is our open G with a down, our open third string. Down, up, down, up, down, up. So I went back one. I went 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4. So down, up, up on my F, up on my third fret, fourth string. And then we're gonna, so he was leading us up to that 4 chord. So once again, for the third time in this solo, when he's on a 4 chord, he's hammering on to that third of the 4 chord. You start to see how important that is in this language and in Tony's language. So hammer on with our second finger from the open G string, the open third string, to the second fret, third string, the A. G to A with a nice clean hammer and a downstroke with our right hand. Down, down, ghost, up, and then pull off. So, sorry, that down, down on the A, ghost with the right hand, and then I have my down, down, ghost, up immediately to my C, my first fret, second string. Ghost up, and then I do a pull off onto my open B, my open second string, with a ghost down in my right hand. So up, ghost, up on my A, my second fret, third string, and then I do 2 downs in a row on my open third string. Down, down. So let's start that phrase again. Starting on that beginning of the scale, down on the 5th string, 3rd fret. Down, down, up, down, up, down, up. Hammer on. Ghost, up, pull off, up, down, down. That's going to be the next little bit. Let's try to loop that, the thing that I called a scale. Let's loop that for just a second, make sure you've got it. Start down there on the 5th string, 3rd fret. Down, up, down, up, down, up, down, down. Ghost, up, pull off, up, down, down. 3, 4, 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and 1. 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 Okay? And because, like I said, that was a pickup to the 4 chord, that's why it starts on beat 2 before the 4 chord. 2, and 3, and 4, and 1. Okay? Just feel that 4 chord when you hammer on it. Back to the 1. And then, next little bit is da 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 da. Okay, so da 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 da. So we're gonna hammer on to that third of our 1, and then pull off. We're doing that same move we did before up above on that C chord. We're gonna hammer on to the E. We're gonna hammer on from our open 4th string to our 2nd fret 4th string, downstroke in the right hand, and then a down on the open G, the 3rd string, and then we're gonna pull off from our 1st fret 4th string with an up, and as we pull we're gonna do a ghost down with our right hand, and then an up with our 5th string, 3rd fret, and then a down with our open D. So here's where we are. That's how much we've done so far. Okay, now an up on my B, my 5th fret, 2nd string, and then down on my C, 5th fret, 3rd string, 5th string, 3rd fret. Okay, so immediately we're going to grab that 4th string and do an up on the D. up on the C. So I'm adding one note every time I loop it. Ghost, up on the C. Now we're going to hit that dramatic 3 chord. So we're going to hammer on from the open D to the E because the melody is there. His eyes were red, his hopes were dead, and the wine was running low. There it is on the E. That's the root of our big dramatic 3 chord coming up. So I go ahead and grab it with my 3rd finger because I know I'm going to play that E chord coming up. But you can grab it with whatever finger you want. Just know that you're going to be playing that E chord soon. Yeah, I think you're going to have to go ahead and grab it with that 3rd finger so you can be ready to play your E major chord. Ghost, up, hammer on, hammer on. Hammer on to that root of the 3 chord, to that E, to the melody note. Hammer on from the open D to the 2nd fret 4th string. And then as you're hammering, I want you to do a ghost up. And then your next down is hitting that chord. Nice and pretty, nice and dramatic. Actually, I might have lied there. There's a teeny bit of a pause before we hit that chord. Okay, let's outline that. We're going to hammer on, like I said, to the root, that E. It's hard for me to do slow-mo. Okay, ham, down, up, quick little upstroke, and then hit the 5 of the chord, the B, and kind of just go now. Okay, let's do that motion together. It's important. Hammer onto the E, and then play your E chord. Ready? Hammer, down on the B, the 5 of the chord. Root, low E, then strong. Down, up, down, down, strong with a down. Down, down, strong. Nice. So pretty. Let's do that whole phrase. Phrase a little bit slowly so you can feel that. That's a really impactful phrase that needs to be done well, with feeling, with power, with control, and with understanding that you're headed toward that beautiful 3 chord. So start on the 5th string, 3rd fret on the C, the tonic, and head up the scale. Hammer onto the 3rd of the 4. Gorgeous. Hope you guys are getting something out of this. Let me know if you have any questions. We just have one little bit left here, and I love this next part actually. It's a I love that. I don't know why. He just leads us to the root of the 4 chord, da da da, because we have one measure of the 4 chord there, and then we have 3 measures of the 5 chord. So we have, he leads us to the root of the 4 chord, and then leads us to the D note, which is in the 5 chord. So he's leading our ear into this beautiful 5 movement, and then he hits a nice 5 chord. It's just so satisfying and gorgeous. And I love how this solo incorporates so much chordal stuff too. So we're just feeling the movement of the chords, and we're in it with him. And I love that. So let's walk on up to that root of the 4 chord, from right, D, E, F. So open 4th string, open D with a downstroke in our right hand, and then an up on our E, our 2nd fret, 4th string, and then a down on our 3rd fret, 4th string, down, up, down. So that's the little pickup to the 4 chord of the last phrase there. Down, up, and then we're going to go down, up, down. So 1, 2, 3 of the 4 chord. F, G, A, down on the F, and down on the 4th string, 3rd fret, up on the open 3rd string, the G, and then down on the 2nd fret, 3rd string. So he's walking up that 4 chord. And then we're going to do an up on the F, the 3rd fret, 4th string. And then we're going to do a down on the G, the 3rd string, and then back to an F again, an up on the 4th string, 3rd fret, and then down on the E, the 2nd fret, 4th string. So da 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 da. That's where we are so far. Down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. And then our next move is going to be that up on the C, and then down on the open D. So up on the 3rd fret, 5th string, and then down on the open 4th string. Down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. So that's your next move. It's just doing some ghost strokes, waiting for that G chord. Ghost, ghost. So for that strum, up, down, up, down, down, up, down, up. Hammer on from my F sharp to my G for the strum, and then down. Down, down, up, down, up, down. See, those ghost strokes are important because there's some space there, and it creates this beautiful longing, and then we have the chords, and we're like, oh. Ghost, ghost, up, down, down. All right, last phrase. Here we go. Any questions? Hope y'all are doing great. We've got... That's our last phrase. So again, starts on an upstroke. So just in typical bluegrass fashion, this is kind of a Doc Watsonism, I guess. It's on the last phrase, people often just do a bluegrass lick. They've been doing kind of a close melody or a decorated melody up until then. And then on the last phrase, it's just often that way. And this is no exception. We're not singing the melody on this last little bit here. Because he's like, and the wine was running low as the old, and he decorates it, as the old man came home. And then he doesn't go from the forest. He goes... So, who recognizes this? We've been doing a lot of this in our C position, and we even did some of it up in our 5 chord in several of our G position solos, which is looking at this triad here. This is the C triad, of course, with the capo on, a C triad between the 3rd and the 5th fret. My 3rd finger is going to be on that root there, 3rd string, 5th fret. My pinky's underneath on the 3rd, 2nd string, 5th fret. And then my 1st finger is on the 3rd fret, 1st string. So just look at this triad here, internalize it. 1, 3, 5, 3, 1. Okay? See how this lick decorates that. this lick is based around that triad because it starts on the 5 of this triad. 5, 6, 5, flat 3. See how my 3rd was on the 5th fret? We're going to hit the 4th fret. Okay, this is a very typical move in bluegrass and in folk, I would say also, is to use this movement from the flat 3 and then an open E to get down to first position. It's just a pretty way. It's kind of a guitar trick, really, because we have this E flat here, and then we have our open E as our major 3rd. Instead of hitting that, the fretted major 3rd there on the 5th string, 2nd string, 5th fret. So let's walk through that lick note by note. I hope your ear can pick it up, but I would like to walk through it with you. We're going to do a ghost down to start the phrase because it starts on the offbeat on an up. So that's up, down, up. My first finger's 3rd fret, 3rd fret, 1st string, 1st finger, and I'm going to do an up. And then I'm going to do a down on my 5th fret, 1st string. And then I'm going to do an up again on my G, my 3rd fret, 1st string. And then I'm going to do a down on my 4th fret, 2nd string. That's my flat 3. Down on the 4th fret, 2nd string. Up on the open E. 1st string, open. So up, down, up. Up, down, up. And then during that open E, I take the time to move down to first position and put my 1st finger on the 2nd string, 1st fret. Up, down, up, down. Put my finger down there on that C, that 1st fret, 2nd string. Up, down, down. Okay. Up, down, up, down, up, down. Let's get that much. Start with my 1st finger, 3rd fret, 1st string. Up, down, up, down. Up on the A, down on the G. Again. Up, down, down. Up on the 2nd fret, 3rd string. Down on the open 3rd string. And I'm immediately going to, with my next upstroke, grab that 1st fret, 4th string. I'm going to pull off onto the open D. So flat 3 to 2 of the C chord. Okay? Up, goes down as I pull off. Up, goes down as I pull off. So here we are. Let's start at the top of the lick. That's where we are. And then immediately grab that up on the open G, the open 3rd string. Start at the top of the lick. And then we're going to do that quick 16th note pull off from the 1st fret, 4th string, downstroke in our right hand, and then an up on our C, our 5th string, 3rd fret. And then I'm going to do a nice walk up my So I just noticed there's a couple comments on here. Just awesome. Thank you, David. Chords with personality. I love it. Yes, here with you, hanging in there. Yes, hanging in there, Julie. Hey, Kenny. Hey, Lanny. Dixie Hagen. And thank you. I think that's Floyd. Yes, I'm going to West Virginia in June for the One Man Jam Festival. So if you guys are not doing anything the weekend of June 9th, come join us in Eglin, West Virginia. It's a really, really fun time. Very small, intimate festival. People camp out, people jam, a lot of songwriters, and a lot of people playing solo. So, yes, we will see you then. And to Dixie Hagen, I would like to say happy 50th anniversary. I can't believe it. Coming up this week with Dad. Congratulations. And, of course, happy Mother's Day as well. I'm glad you're here. Okay, so let's go back to this lick. Okay, so we have walked through note by note that entire lick except for that final C run. And it's just, here we go. We're going to walk up it. We're walking to our third of that chord, down on the open D on open fourth string, up on the E flat, the first fret, fourth string, down on the second fret, fourth string, and then up on the open G, third string, and then down on the open A, the fretted A note, the second fret, third string, and then up on the open B, open second string, and then down on that C, that first fret, second string. It's probably easier to hear than to walk through it like that. So, kind of a C run. Usually C runs are with that open G before the C. But he does a pure walk on up with that major 7, that B, that. It's so beautiful. So by the time we get there, it's so satisfying to get that major 7 just leading us back into that 1. That last lick, beginning with your upstroke, remember? Down on the C chord. So if you want to play the exact chords, the punctuating chords that Tony did, you're going to go down, goes up, down, up, down. So why don't I play that along with him, that last lick? Here it comes. So he just adds this extra beats in before he starts singing. Now, I hope you guys have been able to follow all this because I am thrilled that I made it in 59 minutes through the solo. Didn't talk your ear off too much. I think your main takeaway is going to be learning the sound of a 3 dominant chord. So when it happens in a song, you're like, oh yeah, that's what she was talking about. To me, it has a very strong sound. Another example, another way to learn chords by ear is learn a ton of songs with that chord. So like Ophelia is a good example by the band. Boards on the window, nail by the door. There it is. 3 chord, 3 dominant. Boards on the window, nail by the door. Why would anybody? Different usage because it goes straight to that 6 there, that A dominant. It's more of like a circle of fifths type movement. But point being, one of our goals is chords by ear. We're not depending on paper. We're not depending on bad tab online that has the wrong chords. Remember, don't look online for these chords. Listen to what I said today. And maybe, like I said, I'm kind of tempted. You guys have been reaching out to me asking for written out tabs. And I'm really sorry I haven't had time to address that. But perhaps in the future when I have a little time, I'll sit down and do some notation for y'all. But I really want you to be working on your ear more than anything. Not having that middleman of paper to go by, working on the phrasing and listening to Tony do it, and I'm just trying to help. So thank you so much for being with me, and I'm gonna keep playing, and I'm gonna play the solo a few more times for those who feel like staying on. And thank you for any tips y'all send. I'm going to send them to the Chesapeake Bay Foundation, and I'll play it a few more times for you guys at varying tempos. How about we'll do one super slow that you can practice along with.
All the neon lights shoot.
Okay, let's speed it up some. And by the way, I think I can do next week. Would you like that? I hope this is giving y'all something. And we can either do another Gordon Lightfoot, or we can, I was thinking we might do a Doc Watson. We haven't done a Doc Watson break yet. So I'll let y'all know via Facebook event. It'll be Wednesday at 7:30 p.m. Central, just as usual. All right, here we go a little bit faster.
All the neon lights shoot.
Speed it up.
All the
A
neon
little faster.
lights shoot.
Here we go. Speed it up.
All the neon lights shoot.
Here we go.
All the
Speeding it up.
neon lights shoot.
All right, here we go. Full
All
speed.
the neon lights shoot. All the neon lights.
Fun. Thank you. Thank you so much for being here. I am thrilled that we got to do this. Love talking about Tony Rice solos and all guitar solos. And I hope you got something out of it. Please check out my YouTube page. I'm going to upload these. I know I keep saying that, but I'm going to catch up. A lot of you have requested. It'll be so much easier with a Google search than kind of hunting through the Facebook page when you want to work on this. So you could always put it aside if you don't have time right now. Come back to it. And as you're learning solos, keep a repertoire list going and make sure you revisit them to get them in the long-term memory. So, you know, every now and then just check up on the solos that you've worked on. And so much fun. Thank you guys so much for being here and your comments and your positive energy. It's just wonderful, and I really look forward to this every week. So I'll see y'all probably next Wednesday, 7:30. So put it on the calendar. Thanks again. Bye for now, and happy Mother's Day.